Well, howdy tubers, back at it again. Didn't get anything yesterday because Tuesday night Tuesday night I left to go over to my sister's to spend the night there and then get up, and it's only like a mile and a half from her house to my dad's rehabilitation place. But while I was there, they didn't do any rehabilitation, although they kept telling me they were going to do 3 types of rehabilitation on him. And while I was there, they never did. But after my mom got there about 2:30 or something, I guess later on, they did 2 of them anyways. So I don't know about this place. But anyways, let's get to the airplane. Well, I got the stick working to my satisfaction now. Anyways, there's up and down, and the stick is, sorry, I moved the phone fast. My mom will yell at me. Okay, so we got, and now we'll go all the way around. So I'm happy with that, but what I ended up doing was putting I put the bolt through. Well, let me show you this first. I used these smaller diameter, outside diameter washers instead of the, I guess you'd say, stock. Of course, this is the thick one. And this too is the thick one, just thinner diameter. And of course they make these in, well, I don't know if they make these, probably do, but they make these in about half as thin too, or half as thick too. But, so what I did was, I spread those out just ever so slightly. And so I've got the bolt going through, and then goes through one of them little washers, through the heim joint, into another little washer, through the heim joint, through another little washer, and then through the other side of the fork, and off with a nut on there. Let's see, that helps there. So, and it works for me. It just gives the heim joints a little more clearance. And now I don't know, you may go ahead and try it with the thicker washers, but of course this way you save a little weight and possibly, well, at least definitely not as much interference that way. So worked for me. And then I also put back here, turn that light off. I'm going to put some of that shoe goo, or I don't know, it's real thick, kind of stinky but flexible glue on these eventually, but I just haven't done it yet. But I put, well, I guess I might need the light again. I put me a couple pieces of what is it, probably 1/4 inch, 5/16 inside diameter gas line or whatever, and split it in half and put it there for down bumpers, I'll say. So now it hits against there instead of metal. Let's see, am I getting that in the right spot? Yeah, so I like that. And got all my hinges in, or the hinge pins in, I guess I should say. And this is what I was thinking about making a video on, and I still may do that, but I just want, like, because I don't like the square covers, and I make these concave, convex, whatever con it is, covers, and then I'll put on there. But I take a old hacksaw blade And, oh, I guess I can turn that light off. Take an old hacksaw blade and grind off the teeth, and then bend it just a little bit to fit in here, and rivet it on here with some solid rivets. And then, of course, it'll stick out each side like 3/32, an eighth inch or something, and then you can slip it in there and slip it down there. Of course, I haven't tried it on a square hole yet, so I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll figure something out. But, and what I was going to do is make a video on how I cut out these circles. I cut that out with a hole saw. I know, you don't believe me, because there's no hole in the middle. That's right. Let me show you. Maybe I'll just show instead of do a video. Okay. Well, here's my 4.5 inch hole saw, which for you scratch builders, on the outer wing panels, the last third of it or something, I don't know, I can't measure that. It used to be, or at least on the plans, it shows for like 3 4-inch holes and then 3 4.5 inch holes. Well, I know I went ahead and bought the for the H5. I went ahead and bought the those spar webs. I mean, I went ahead and I built all mine, but I went ahead and bought the webs. But when I went to Dimple, what'd you call it? Dimple? Flange those 4.5 inch holes with my flanging tools that I made. The 4.5 didn't fit in the 4-inch, obviously. So I found out that, or wait, the 4-inch didn't fit, or would fit in the 4.5 inch hole, but of course it wouldn't do anything. So I found out that I guess they just went ahead and went to all 4.5 inch holes in the spars instead of 3 of them being 4-inch and then 3 of them being 4.5. If I think that's right, or it's right on the amount of them. So anyways, of course, this one where the little, or no, the threads got messed up on this one, so I made me a little, I guess you'd say, adapter or fix, whatever, and put it on there. Sure great to have a lathe. I keep forgetting to say that, but I just love having a lathe. Just come up with all kinds of things, or fix things, or whatever, but I sure like having lathe. When I was in high school, I liked the lathe. I didn't care too much for the mill, but it still comes in handy too. Of course, this is a Smithy, which I believe they're still around. I bought mine in '93. But it's also a mill, but I didn't like switching it over from a mill to the lathe, so I just got a Harbor Freight mill. Well, they call it a drill mill, whatever. Anyways, back to the problem here. Okay, so I take the drill bit that's in the arbor out, screw that, in there, and push that down. And then what you do is go ahead and drill you a hole. Of course, with you'd have that pilot drill in there then, but drill you a hole in a piece of wood, then take the pilot drill out, and then take that piece of wood and put it over and get it on what you want to put a big hole in. Let's see. Okay, there, it's focusing. And then you just run your drill down, or run the saw down there through the wood, and that'll keep it from chattering and all that. Another thing I wanted to show scratch builders would be, say you wanted to put, well, we'll say this is a 3 1/8, or 3 1/4, I think. Yeah, 3¼ It's 3¼ inches around. There we go. If you wanted to drill a 3-inch hole in your, say, an airplane wing or something to put so you can reach in there and put wires or whatever. But, you know, you're drilling into 16 thousandths aluminum, which there isn't a whole lot of what I call bearing support after this drill has penetrated that. I mean, it's just not going to take long before that starts wobbling. So what I do is rivet that on with 4 rivets, 2 rivets, or whatever, and then run your, let's see. Okay, so you get that riveted on there, and, well, let me, trying to show everything. Okay, now then, once you got this located on your wing or fuselage or whatever you want to drill a hole in, or a big hole in. Now this is a 3 1/8 hole saw. Of course, then you've got a lot. This is about an 1/8 inch piece of aluminum with holes in there, and then rivet that to your wing or fuselage, and then of course run that through there, and that'll be your better bearing surface. And then of course once you drill through, this is going to come off, and then you have to just drill your rivets out so you can use that again. Or if it's a one-time deal, then don't worry about it. But really works good and keeps it from wallering. Now I was telling about that, and I said it was about 3¼ Well, I cut it with a 3½ inch hole saw, so so it's not really 3½ because it's inside diameter, not outside diameter, and that's what this 3½ inch is measured by, is the outside diameter. So anyway, I hope that hasn't got everybody all confused or whatever, but any questions, please leave me a message. Hey, we're getting a long video here. Let me go get Spike. Okay, there's a long video for you. There you go, and God bless.